Rents slashed in Brisbane. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my morning stein of coffee that I'm still working through, and I thought we'd have a look at this Domain article discussing, well, rents getting slashed in Brisbane. A follow-on to the article we looked at yesterday where we were discussing what was happening in Canberra. Now, Brisbane rental prices aren't the highest in the world, and I'm just going to look up Property Data Room, and we'll jump that up and have a look at the median rental price for Brisbane. This is a great source of information, particularly when we're discussing property. We'll have a look here, median residential house rents, and Brisbane is below the weighted average at $420 a week, and this is from February 2020. We can see it down there. Then unit rents as well. Brisbane is again below the weighted average of $455 at $395. So our rents are certainly lower than Melbourne and Sydney, and certainly below average, which is good if you're renting. Now, the rents were slashed by 30% during the lockdown, but are now recovering, apparently. They're now recovering. We'll have to see. Remember, we're just entering the beginning of a recession. We haven't had any of the life support mechanisms that have been attached to our economy pulled away. Is this just a foreshadow of what will happen? So Brisbane's inner city rental market has finally begun the painful crawl out of its most devastating slump in decades after the mass exit of students, expats and hospitality workers sparked skyrocketing vacancy rates and soaring discounts. According to the latest rental discounting data compiled by Domain, some of the city's inner hotspots were forced to slash median weekly rent prices by more than 30% during the pandemic peak in April, with a whopping 636 rental listings still available as of May in Brisbane City alone. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, rents were very high in Brisbane. You've got the QUT right in the city. You've got a whole lot of students living right in the city, driving that demand. What's this going to do if this continues to all these rental properties? What's it going to do to the valuation of it? And how many people are not going to be able to afford their mortgage repayments once these holidays disappear, once the mortgage holidays evaporate? That's the question. That's what everyone, I think, is going to watch. And would you be investing in this student accommodation? I mean, if you've got a couple of hundred, you want to buy a little one bedder or 300,000, would you be chucking it at student accommodation right now? Right now, who would be looking at that? I guess maybe in the future, but the rhetoric coming out of China looks like that source of international students might be dented for some time. Could just be talk, but we'll have to see. The CBD's rental discounting rate was still painfully high at 32.9% last month, with Milton not far behind at 32.7%. On the other end of the spectrum, some of the city's outer suburbs, such as Manly, scarcely copped a loss at all, with the eastern suburbs suffering a rental discount of just 0.9% in May. Well, yeah, because the students weren't renting there, were they? That's where the biggest hit in people was, out of the city centre. But while property pundits warned it could be months to come before the city's tourist and student-reliant hubs found their economic feet, Ray White, Brisbane CBD principal Dean Jesberg, said in the past couple of weeks alone, life has been breathed back into the industry. Since things have reopened, we've seen a rising level of inquiries. Of course, inquiries. It's always inquiries. It seems to be hope and fairy dust that is pushing a lot of these property pundits. Well, I guess if you crash to zero inquiries and you see it coming in, that will fill you with confidence that more is coming back. He's got a point. So, and this is from people coming back into the city who are perhaps getting their jobs back, he said. Why would you jump? I guess maybe they cancelled their lease, moved back home, and then are moving back into the city really quick. Would you do? I mean, it's a hassle, isn't it? Does that make sense? But the pandemic has still had a massive impact on the inner city market due to a couple of factors. We rely heavily on international students, and they've not been able to come or have had to go home. There you go. I mean, this the claims that the market's recovering in this article, I feel like they're just trying to find someone who they can refer to back that up. The fundamentals don't seem like they're in place to justify that. What do you think, guys? Until we start seeing rental prices climb up, discounting's still over 30%. So regions with the greatest proportion of discounted rentals. So we've got New South Wales. I only want Queensland. Inner Brisbane, May 24. Oh, so it's gone down. It's gone down. Look at New South Wales, 36.7, 33.2. So yes. You then have the fact that a lot of people who rent here are in hospitality or the service industry, and they could not afford to keep their rentals. Mr. Jesberg said their office boasted a large rental roll across the CBD, and while activity had recently picked up, overall vacancy rates across his inner city offices areas were still sitting at a whopping 84%. What? Let me read that again. Overall vacancy rates across his rent roll is at 84%, reflecting what he said was one of the toughest markets ever for landlords. So why the hell are they saying that it's picking up if he's got 84% vacancy? And bloody hell, that's crazy. The reality is, once the vacancy rates go over 5%, it becomes a tenant's market. So they've got very good opportunities right now, and there's been a massive correction in prices, he said. Am I reading that right, guys? Overall vacancy rates across his inner city offices area were still sitting at a whopping 84%. He's saying it's a tenant market when it goes over 5%, yet we're looking at 84% vacancy rates. Wow. So we're seeing a lot of movement right now with people moving into better or cheaper accommodation. That's smart. That's good. Saving money. Do it to save money, guys. Don't upgrade. No. Go cheaper. Go bloody cheaper. Save your cash. You'll need it. You'll need it. You never know. Think about it. If you stash that cash away, once all these support mechanisms disappear, you might be in a position to buy where you're renting. But while it's the toughest rental market we've ever seen, people still need a roof over their heads. Yes, and what they'll do is they'll move in together, they'll save money, they'll live with family, they'll do whatever they can. 84%. And yet they're saying it's picking up in the title. So, I mean, okay, this is Domain. I know there's going to be an inherent positive spin to a lot of these articles, particularly with property. But damn, guys, 84%. I need a coffee, okay? 84. Outside of Brisbane's student and tourism reliant centres, the Domain data revealed the city's rental market as a whole weathered the pandemic storm better than Melbourne and Sydney, with the city reaching an average rental discounting peak of only 20.6% in April compared to 29.9% in Sydney. Discounting rates then dropped to 16.6% in May for Brisbane, while remaining a still painful 27.7% for Sydney and 25.3% for Melbourne. I'd say 16.6% is still painful if you're one of the people that are having to discount and, make even a better negative gain on your property. Domain senior research analyst Dr. Nicola Powell said while the student and expat rental hubs had been hammered by the pandemic, the ease of restrictions and rising confidence had helped ease discounting rates in May in a trend that she said should continue until the mechanisms are withdrawn, until unemployment goes up, then rents will go down. All the capitals in May did see an improvement, but it's still elevated compared to this time last year. And it's interesting to see that all capital cities showed the same trend. I would expect those rates to keep going down. And now that we've seen governments pushing for holidays at home, we may see a pickup in short-term lets. But until we have our borders open and overseas migration back to normal, we are likely to see quite a high level of discounting. Here's the thing, migration, which has been a big portion of our population growth for some time, may not return to normal for years. For years. Is property still going to go up forever, everyone? I know there's some people that are saying that compared to other countries, we will still look more appealing. So people will park their money into Australia. Perhaps. While many Brisbane suburbs have undergone a rental price hit, at least Els Possa and Aura Realty Brisbane said the properties across Bulimba, Morningside and Coorparoo had scarcely felt the pinch. Yeah, it's Bulimba. I mean, come on, these are this is where our former Prime Minister used to live, guys, okay? Yeah. It's where my hoity-toity friends live, you know. There was maybe 10 days when we were talking to owners about a discount, but we weren't impacted at all. In fact, we may have been inundated with inquiries over the past 2 weeks. Yeah, because people want to upgrade to Bulimba. Senior property manager at Bell Property Paddington, Carl Steinhardt, said their office had also largely avoided the need to discount properties while rental rates remained steady over the past few weeks. We were lucky in the sense that we didn't see a spike in our vacancy levels and again remained consistent. Well, it's because of the people who are occupying your premises. Sure, we're seeing an 84% vacancy rate in parts of the city that are dependent on expats and international tourism. Wow. But it's recovering, guys. But it's now recovering. 84%. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us, there are a few ways you can. The easiest way is to comment, like, share the content, help the channel grow. The algorithm loves that. It makes a big difference. If you want to support us financially, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. We get a small commission that doesn't cost you anything. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays blog. You can see the pocket squares behind me that Rachel made. You can support us using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or via PayPal. Take care, see you next time, and watch out for those 84% vacancy rates. That can't be right.